recording this while I'm walking, so if the audio cuts out, that's why. Wind, traffic, whatever. I just didn't want to wait. I've learned that if I wait, I start convincing myself nothing's wrong. My name's Phil. I'm 27. I do HVAC installs and maintenance in Washington State. Mostly new construction, crawl spaces, attics, heat pumps that never quite fit where the plans say they should. After work, I ruck. I know it sounds like one of those internet fitness things, but really it's just walking with weight. Backpack, 40 pounds, sometimes sandbags, sometimes old bricks wrapped in towels. I set a dumb goal for myself at the start of the year, 500 miles, and now it's November and I'm behind. So every night after work, I do loops. Same neighborhood, almost nightly. It was November 1st, the day after Halloween. Fake cobwebs still snagged in the hedges, inflatable ghosts sagging on lawns like they'd given up. The air had that cold, clean smell that means winter's thinking about it. My loop is exactly 1 mile if I do it right. Down the cul-de-sac, cut through the greenbelt by the mailboxes, loop past the retention pond, then back through the second strip of trees that come out behind the elementary school. They call it a greenbelt, but it's really just 30 yards of pine and blackberry between houses. You can see porch lights through the branches the entire time. You're never more than a stone's throw away from someone's backyard. That's why I liked it. It felt safe. I'd walked it 10, maybe 11 nights in a row now. Same boots, same playlist, horror podcasts, actually, because apparently I enjoy stressing myself out for cardio. My feet knew the turns better than my head did. About halfway through, my earbuds started glitching. That watery skipping sound like the host was talking through the bottom of a pool. I tapped the cord. Nothing. Those stupid USB-C adapters are garbage. I pulled the plug. For half a second, there was silence. Then, my phone speaker kicked in at full volume, blasting the podcast mid-sentence. And when he looked up, the figure was already... The show went on. I fumbled the volume down so hard I almost dropped the phone. My heart was already racing from the weight, and suddenly it felt like I had somewhere urgent to be. I didn't put the earbuds back in. I just read the transcript while we walked, head down, thumbs scrolling. Stupid, I know. But there's no crime back there. I know the route. I wasn't worried about it. Worst thing that's ever happened is someone stepping on a goose crap by the pond. I was thinking about work the next day, an install that was already behind schedule when I stopped walking. I didn't trip, I didn't hear anything, I just stopped. There was a man standing on the path, 15 feet ahead, right in the middle, like he'd been placed there. Dark jacket, faded gray jeans, heavy work boots, no flashlight, no phone glow. He was facing me, head angled down, arms hanging straight at his sides. For a second, I thought maybe he was another guy doing the loop. Maybe he'd stopped to adjust something, but he didn't move, didn't shift his weight, didn't react to me freezing in place. Hey, sorry, I said, forcing a little laugh. I didn't see you there. He didn't answer. That's when I noticed his clothes. They were soaked, not damp, wet. The jacket clung to him. His jeans were dark all the way to the knee. His boots shine like they'd just come out of water. It hadn't rained in days. The trail went dead quiet. No wind, no distant traffic. I could hear my breathing inside my ears. I waited for him to say something, anything, a joke, an apology. You scared the hell out of me. Nothing. So I turned around. I didn't run. I wish I had a better excuse, but the truth is I didn't want to look like I was panicking. I just turned fast and walked back the way I'd come, telling myself I'd forgotten something, that I needed to stretch anyway. I didn't look back. I made it home without anything happening, locked the door, turned on the porch light, tried to laugh it off. It wasn't until later, lying in bed, that it hit me. If he'd followed me, I wouldn't have known. Not once did I check. The next morning, I decided it had just been another guy cutting through. Maybe someone who lived along the greenbelt. Maybe someone who'd also been out at the pond. I don't know. People do weird stuff. When I got home from work that night, there was a pile of rocks on my porch. Smooth river rocks stacked into a little pile beside the welcome mat. They hadn't been there that morning. I stood there longer than I want to admit, trying to remember if kids around here did that kind of thing. Halloween had just passed. It was easy enough to tell myself it was nothing. I kicked them into the yard and went inside. 2 days later, there were 5 rocks on the hood of my truck, perfectly balanced. It was raining that morning. I watched the water bead and slide off of them like they'd been waxed. I wiped them with my sleeve and tossed them into the bushes, telling myself not to be dramatic. That night, I went out to walk. I brought my flashlight this time, a good one. Same route, same time. When I hit the back greenbelt, I aimed the beam at the spot where I'd seen him. Nothing. But the air smelled wrong, like wet fabric that never dried properly, like a basement. I sped up. The next morning, there were boot prints on my porch. They came right up to the doormat and stopped. They weren't mine. Too big, too deep. I took a picture and sent it to my buddy Ryan from work. Dude, he texted, probably a raccoon. Sure, a raccoon in work boots. After that, I started sleeping lighter. Porch light stayed on. I moved my pistol from the safe to the nightstand and felt stupid the whole time, like I was pretending this was something it wasn't. A week later, there was a wreath on the porch. Not a holiday one. Pine needles, twisted together into a small ring, tied with fishing line. Fresh sap, sticky on my fingers when I touched it. That's when I stopped using the trail. I started walking laps through the actual neighborhood instead. Sidewalks, streetlights, ring cameras blinking red. But every loop took me past the greenbelt entrance. Every time I glanced in. Sometimes I thought I saw something move when my light hit the trees, just enough to make my stomach tighten, like someone stepping back. Then the noises started. Tapping on the siding of the house. Slow, irregular, scraping under the bottom window. Every time I checked, there was nothing. One night, the motion light kicked on and I saw a shadow move across the driveway. I went out with a flashlight and the pistol, heart trying to tear its way out of my chest. It was a deer. I laughed until my hands started shaking. The next night, there was another wreath, tighter this time, and a rock beside it. When I picked it up, it was warm. Not sun warm, body warm. That's when I started thinking about moving. It's been quiet 3 nights since then. No wreaths, no rocks, no sounds. I almost believed it was over. Last night I woke up to footsteps on gravel, slow, careful, right outside my window. I waited. Then the porch light shut off instantly. It's on a timer. It doesn't turn off until sunrise. 30 seconds later, it came back on. This morning, there was a single line drawn across the doormat, straight, clean, parallel to the door, like someone measuring. I don't know what that means. I just know that when I walk now, I don't look at my phone anymore, and I don't wear earbuds, because I keep thinking about that night on the trail and how he wasn't blocking my way. He was already on it.